What if I told you? A king once gave up the most powerful throne in the world, not for war, not for money, but for love. In 1936, the King of England shocked the entire world with one decision that changed royal history forever. This is the forbidden love story of King Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson. Introduction. In the long history of European royalty, kings married for power, alliances, and tradition. But King Edward VIII was different. He believed in one thing above all else: true love, even if it meant losing everything. This is the story of the king who chose love over the crown. Who was Edward VIII? Edward VIII became king of the United Kingdom in January 1936. He was charming, modern, and extremely popular with the public. People believed he would be a fresh, progressive king for a new era. But behind palace walls, Edward was deeply in love with a woman the royal family could never accept. Who was Wallis Simpson? Wallis Simpson was an American socialite. She was stylish, intelligent, confident, and most importantly, twice divorced. At that time, the Church of England did not allow a king to marry a divorced woman with living ex-husbands. For the royal establishment, Wallis was completely unacceptable. But for Edward, she was everything. A love the world tried to stop. Edward refused to give her up. The British government warned him. The church opposed him. The royal family begged him to choose the crown. Newspapers began calling their relationship a national crisis. Edward was given an impossible choice: be king and lose the woman he loved, or be with Wallis and lose the throne for Eve. The abdication that shocked the world. On December 10, 1936, after ruling for less than 1 year, Edward made history. He abdicated the throne. The next day, he addressed the nation in a radio broadcast and said one of the most famous lines in royal history: "I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility without the help and support of the woman I love." With those words, Edward walked away from the crown. Life after the crown. Edward became Duke of Windsor, and he later married Wallis Simpson in France in 1937. They lived a life of luxury, exile, and controversy. They never returned to power. They never had children, and Wallis was never fully accepted by the royal family. Some historians say Edward sacrificed too much. Others say he proved something rare among kings: the courage to love freely. Why this love story still matters. This was not just a royal scandal. It was the first time in modern history a king chose personal happiness over absolute power. Edward VIII changed the monarchy forever. His brother became King George VI, and later his niece became Queen Elizabeth II. One love story reshaped the future of Britain. So tell me, was Edward